Welcome to Knit Together with Kim and Jonna. I'm Jonna.
And I'm Kim.
And we're so happy to be back. Oh my goodness, we have a lot to tell you. It's been
But we won't tell you all of it.
Yeah, we won't tell you all of it. We can't actually. Or I'd prefer not to.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're so happy to be back. We're happy to be feeling better. We've had a little bit of a challenge. I don't know, March seems to be my bad month. If I'm going to get sick in a year and I'm going to get really sick, it's usually in March, and I don't know why that is.
Yeah. Luckily, it was nothing serious.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, not COVID or
Any other
things. Just inconvenient and unpleasant, shall we say.
Yeah. I mean, we were supposed to film episode 5. We always do it a week and a half in advance, so we have time to edit and take photographs. And I went away with my husband, and I got food poisoning. And it was a long weekend, so I was sick on that Monday still, and we were supposed to shoot Wednesday, so we postponed. Yeah. And then...
Oh, and I went to Florida for the weekend with my husband. It was a delayed trip. We were supposed to go over New Year's, and then the Omicron virus kind of shut everything down, and our flight got canceled. So I said, let's go. The weather will be better at the end of February anyway. So, yeah, we went to Florida for the weekend. I felt fine, and, I was still kind of masked most of the time. And we got home, and... that was a Monday. And then we were supposed to film on Tuesday, and I was ready, had been working on...
You went to the gym that morning?
I went to the gym that morning, went to Whole Foods, kind of worked on what I was going to talk about. And just as I was getting in the car, I thought, oh gosh, I don't think I've eaten very much today. So I thought, I need to get some energy. So I grabbed a banana and a cheese stick, which you know me well. That's like my go-to.
Typical snack.
Yeah. So I get in the car and everything's great. And we arrive at the store and we set
everything up.
Yeah, Elena's there and I'm wearing we're both wearing new sweaters. And so we sit down and I'm feeling a little... like my skirt's on too tight or something is just not quite right, and I'm kind of adjusting myself in my seat, but we're recording, and about halfway through the episode I just turned to Kim and said, I'm sorry, I'm sick. I have some kind of stomach bug. And we tried to film the rest of the episode, but I never really made a recovery, shall we say, and I barely made it home. And, it was rough. So anyway, weird to both have stomach things. Yeah. Even though we didn't see each other.
We didn't even see each other in between.
And I'm pretty sure mine was a virus because I felt pretty crummy.
And I'm pretty sure mine was food poisoning because my husband was with me, and even when I got home, nobody else got it. Yeah. Yeah, So yeah, I recovered, and... Saturday we went to pick up every stitch. Yeah, we were both fun.
And we met the knitting posse. Yay, and that was fun. Fun. Even though I didn't eat anything at lunch, I was still like gun shy.
What are their names again? Kim, Kate,
Laura.
and Laura.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Laura,
Hi.
because I have a daughter named Laura. So anyway, we had a nice lunch. It felt really normal. And then we walked across the street to pick up every stitch, or across the street and around the corner. And Pick Up Every Stitch was having a Mayak trunk show. So that was fun. It was busy. It was really busy. It was fun to see everybody. And
I found a new sweater I want to knit. Anyway. We'll talk about that in episode 5.
It was fun to see Paola from Mayak. She's just a lovely, sweet, sweet lady. And we actually met a viewer.
Yes, somebody recognized.
We met our first viewer. And it was so cute because she had an appointment in the area early in the morning.
Jen. And her husband, Dustin.
Yeah.
He knits too.
Which was great. And we had a really nice chat with her. It was really fun to meet her. And she had waited around till Pick Up Every Stitch opened at noon.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So she had been in the area for a while. So she was just waiting for the store to open.
And she didn't know there was an event that day. So she's like, is it always this busy?
I know. It was really busy. But yeah, it was great to meet you, Jen, and your husband, and hear about your knitting journey and that he's a knitter. Yeah, it was so cool.
So fun, yeah.
Yeah. And then I had mentioned a Christmas sweater, and that Kim was knitting these Christmas slippers, which we'll show you in episode 5. And then they ended up buying yarn to make the slippers.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was cool.
That was fun. That was really, really fun.
Yeah.
But then we had rescheduled to shoot episode 5 that next Wednesday. And you woke up that morning with a cold.
Yeah. So I got a cold from out of nowhere. I think I had gone to the gym one more time that Monday, I think. And I had a little bit of a sore throat, and I thought, oh, it's probably nothing. Yes, so I had a pretty intense cold, and I have managed to not be tested for COVID this whole entire time. Like the one time I was sick, I had RSV, and I knew I had RSV because someone else had RSV. Yeah, so I ended up doing 2 COVID tests in 2 weeks. They're not nearly as bad as I expected. So, both negative. So, just garden variety.
Yeah.
Cold. Yeah.
And so then we rescheduled one more time. So we didn't film that day because she had a cold. And then we rescheduled. Now we're actually going to film episode 5 tomorrow. You're going to see this this coming Friday, which whatever that date is. What's going to be the date this coming Friday? March
18th. St. Patrick's Day is on Thursday. 17th.
And you're seeing my St. Patrick's outfit.
Did you buy your corned beef yet?
No, I didn't even think of that. But you'll see this on Friday, March 18th, and then we're going to film episode 5 tomorrow, which is Wednesday, but we won't show it actually until April 1st. Yeah. We're going to save it for a month, till the next month, because we're so behind anyway.
And we have so much to talk about. It's going to be a long episode, so just like...
It's going to be a long maxi mini-sode.
It is. Oh my goodness. So we have a lot of finished objects. We have a lot of news. We haven't even talked about my trip to Texas and to the McKinney Knittery, which was so fun.
And I do have a little scratchy throat.
Right, we forgot you're cold.
Unrelated. It didn't make us postpone a shoot, though, because we had already postponed, or I don't even know. I had watched my grandkids one day when their mom had a really bad cold, and she had got it from them. And then it's in the house. They live with us. So after watching them and being coughed all over, they got it really bad, and I had a very, very mild cold, but it's now like the remnants of it are living on my vocal cords. So I sound like an alto, but I'm a soprano.
I just sound yucky in the morning. So
but anyway, that's that. So we caught you up on our illness.
Our illnesses.
And our schedule. I want to talk about how we're going to modify our schedule moving forward.
Yeah. So in April, if you've been with us for a while, I may have mentioned that my son is getting married in April in Texas. So I'll be going there for a week just for the wedding festivities and for my granddaughter Eleanor's birthday. So we're super excited about that. And then you're going to France.
I'm going to France. I'll be there for local yarn shop day, by the way.
Wow.
So I'm sure you're going to want to do something for local yarn shop day, but I won't be with you.
Yeah.
So, but I'm going to find a local yarn shop in France, in Bordeaux. Yeah. I'm assuming. Do they do local yarn shop day in Europe?
I don't know. Probably on a different day. But that's okay.
Yeah, but anyway.
I'm fully anticipating that you're going to go check out a yarn shop.
Yeah, there's a few that I've looked up.
So Are you flying in and out of Paris? Or?
No, in and out of Bordeaux. Oh, I think we have to... Do we go in and out of Paris and then make a connection to Bordeaux?
Because I can't remember. Anime is in Paris.
So. I can't even remember.
Well, you don't need to know now, so...
Right. But anyway, so moving forward, at least for April... And then May, our family has gazillions of birthdays. And then the summer hits and we travel a lot.
Yeah. So we just thought we're going to be, we've been releasing videos every Friday at 10 a.m. And we'll continue to release them on Fridays at 10 a.m., but probably fewer. Just
twice a month.
Yeah, twice a month. We're shooting for twice a month. Maybe if there's something that comes up, super exciting, we want to talk about it, there'll be 3. So we're just going to kind of play it by ear through the summer.
Yes.
And I think when fall hits, there's just so much to talk about, and all the yarn festivals. The Long Island Yarn Crawl is coming up.
Oh, really?
I sent you that. I think I sent you that.
Yeah, I didn't have a chance.
Yeah, and the Brooklyn Yarn Crawl is coming up, too. So
many fun things.
Yeah.
And spring is just around the corner.
And you haven't been to Brooklyn General, have you?
I have not.
Brooklyn General is a fun little store. The McKinney Knittery that I visited in Texas actually reminds me of the Brooklyn General store, but like 10 times bigger.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So wait, the McKinney Knittery is bigger or
bigger?
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, everything's bigger in Texas, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah. But it's in a historic downtown area, and we'll talk about it in episode 5. But it was a really great trip, so I'm so glad I made the time to go. Oh yeah. And now that we're at 6,000 viewers, we want to announce our 5,000 viewer giveaway winner, who is
Tessa Mildenhall. She knows already. Yeah. And she's from South Africa.
I know.
So exciting.
And I would have already gotten the yarn in the mail, but, illness.
Life has gotten in the way, and now we can show it.
Yeah.
And then...
And it's so beautiful. I'm so excited for you. So.
Yes. So
congratulations.
She's getting all 3. It's not 3 different winners. One
Yeah.
winner gets all 3.
Yeah.
And thank you for helping us, or no, not even helping us. Because of you,
Right.
we have now 6,000 viewers. So, because if it was just us, we'd have 2 viewers.
Yeah. And, you know, the channel has grown so fast, and that's another thing. We actually need a little bit of time to learn some new things.
Yeah.
Like how to do screen recordings and how to do voiceovers and how to use the gimbal. And so there's lots of stuff we want to do a shop tour of Pick Up Every Stitch, but we need a little bit of downtime to plan.
And even replying to we really do.
Yeah.
I haven't read comments in a couple weeks. I've just been, you know, it's just been so much. So, I mean, I've read them, but I haven't replied. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So, we might need a little more time to keep up on that as well.
Yeah.
Wonder if I could paste. No, never mind.
We didn't say where we were.
Oh! Where are we? A new room.
This is our studio. This is our Knit Together with Kim and Jonna studio and my house.
In Jonna's craft room / baby room.
Right. So this used to be my daughter's bedroom, and it's a big room. It's narrow, but it's long. So it really lends itself well to 2 uses. So that side is the nursery. And the side is the craft area. And we had it painted.
And
it was pink, so we had it painted white, so it would be just a little bit more neutral. And I bought my Calyx at IKEA, which are the same kind of cubbies that they have at Pick Up Every Stitch. So super affordable. Yeah, and I put it together myself in like half an hour.
And is this all your stash?
This is not all my stash. This is the large portion of it, though. I do have some Let Low Be over there in the corner. I have some Rowan felted tweed. But, you know, when the kids lived here, I had yarn hidden in ottomans, in closets, underneath the bed. Like, it was all over the place. And it made it really hard for me to remember what was in my stash. And I wasn't sure how I would feel seeing it all here, because I've shown it to a few people and they gasped, you know. But this is not a huge... This is a substantial stash, but it's not a huge stash.
I love it. It's beautiful.
And I wondered how I would feel. You know, would I feel pressured? Would I feel anxious about how much yarn was here? Would I feel guilty? I didn't know how I would feel. But I actually love it. And I love looking at it, and I love...
touching it.
You know, and
That's what I would
touching
do.
it and
I would
imagining.
just walk in here and touch it all the time.
It actually took me a while to figure out how to arrange it. And I decided on color. I'm not sure why. I think just aesthetically, I thought it would look really cool behind us.
It's lovely.
So it's not in order by weight by any means. So, yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I really love it.
And so I think we might just always record our mini-sodes here now instead of trying to find different corners in our houses and
Well, it's quiet up here.
shushing our families and
And we're kind of out of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless the garage door opens
Right.
below
If you
us.
hear like
A rumbling.
the garage is right below us, so no promises there. My dad's always in and out.
But it's not right next to the kitchen. It's
No.
not in the middle of like people working from home and
Right.
everything.
Right.
So
we won't be able to hear my
yeah,
husband
so it's
also.
fun to have a space. I think we can even leave some of the equipment here, right?
Yeah.
Are we rambling? Like, do people need to
I don't
notice?
know. I don't know.
We haven't talked to you guys in so long.
Yeah, I just feel like there's a lot to catch up on.
Yeah, definitely.
But you were mentioning viewers, and that's actually what this episode is about. I put together what episode was that we did?
Socks, tips and tricks.
And we'll put a little doobly-doo. Do we know how to do that yet? The little link? We'll
A
link
link
it.
to the previous video?
Yeah.
I do. I'm too lazy, but I will do it for you.
Okay.
Because I love you so
Oh,
much.
thank you. And I actually figured out how to do timestamps, and they're not nearly as complicated as I expected.
Now,
so-
can you go back in our previous videos and timestamp them?
Yes,
Nice.
you can. But we're planning on doing a Ravelry video. We're still trying to figure out the technology for that. But it'll be cool because we'll be able to put chapters in that video and label them. So if you just want to, look at one part of the video, then you can just fast forward to that part.
Nice.
Yeah, it's cool. So anyway, last night I went through all the comments on that video, the sock video, and and I mentioned this before, there were so many great tips and tricks that our viewers had that I thought we should do an episode on the viewer tips and tricks.
And that's what this is.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then at the end of the video, I took sort of an informal poll. So anytime someone mentioned what kind of needle they used, I made a little hash mark. So there were 129 viewers who commented about the type of needle that they prefer.
Oh, wow.
And so at the end of the video, we'll tell you what everyone preferred.
That's awesome.
I don't know if I was surprised. A little surprised, I guess. But maybe not. But yeah, a little surprised. So anyway, we'll tell you at the end.
And I don't really knit socks, so nothing surprised me.
As you're knitting socks, you're saying.
As I'm knitting socks, but it's very slow. You guys know how long I've been working on these. And also at the very end of the video, stick to the very end. Stick with us to the very end because our friend Tara from Crystal Tea Knits has given us a discount code. So we'll give you that at the end of the video toward her patterns. Any patterns that she's published. And also Katie did bags, our favorite. Yay! She's also offered.
This is a retro one. This is an old one.
It's an old one.
Yeah.
That's our original together, our original Katie did bag.
Yeah.
She's also offering a discount in her Etsy shop. So at the very end of the video, we'll talk about those discount codes.
Okay.
Let's go. Let's get into this sock, this sock information from the viewers because maybe I'll be more inspired to finish these.
Yeah. And I'll start with a couple tips that a lot of viewers mentioned. And the first one is, and I should have grabbed my little blue set, but I splurged on the little, and it's actually the red set, not the blue set. I splurged on the little red.
What's the difference between the red and the blue set?
So the red is the 0 through 3, I think, US size 3, interchangeable little shorties. Yeah.
And the blue
So it comes with 3 cables. And it comes with needles from 0 to 3. And then the blue set comes with needles from 4 to 8.
Okay.
And small circumference. So they're all shorties. Yeah, so I splurged on both sets. Anyway, so our first tip, and many viewers mentioned this, and it has worked great for me. And in fact, this sock is on my interchangeable set. And the left needle is the 2-inch needle. And the right needle is the 3-inch needle. So this gives me a little bit more territory. It gives me a little bit more to hold on to. And I really like this setup. So these are the Chiaogoo red shorty interchangeables with US size 1 needles, but the 2-inch tip on the left and the 3-inch tip on the right.
That's a great tip.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know though. I like to have, like I had 4-inch interchangeables before. What are these?
5.
This is not an interchangeable. This is just.
Those look like 5s.
Yeah, I like having the 5 inches. I do.
So,
but I haven't really tried that.
And another thing, when I first got these, I was gripping the needles so tightly. And that was one of the tips was, if you're using small circulars, it's really not to hold on to the needles. I'm holding on to the fabric, actually, with my left hand. And really not holding on too tightly. So that was definitely a tip that helped me out. So I'm still learning, though. And I am. People have definitely encouraged me to keep trying. My grandson actually knit a few stitches in this. William knit a few stitches in this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so cool. You're handing it down to the next generation.
So the next tip actually came from several viewers as well, and it was a pattern recommendation. And the recommendation was for the DRK Everyday Socks by Andrea Mowry. And those are a toe up. There was a lot of discussion on, you didn't talk about toe up versus cuff down, but, but I don't know, that's just a preference.
Have you knitted a toe up sock?
I have. I haven't completed them, but I have cast on. So I haven't gotten to the heel yet. And I honestly think that that's just a preference, you know. Maybe some people do say that if you start with the toe up, then you can make the leg as long as you want and use up as much yarn as you want to, you know, if you want to use up a whole skein. And also it helps with yarn management to make sure that you're not going to run out of yarn. So.
Oh, that makes sense. Because then you can make them shorter if you have to.
Right. So, so we didn't cover that topic, but the DRK socks by Andrea Mowry, and I actually bought that pattern. It's in my Ravelry library, and I haven't made it yet, but the other good thing about that sock is that it's a ribbed sock, so it fits really well. Yeah, so it's great for gift knitting, and it also comes in 11 sizes from baby to, must be like extra, extra large adult.
Wow.
So, yeah, a lot of people suggested that pattern. So I definitely want to try that out. I've heard that from a lot of people. All right. So this next tip comes from Tracy Charalambus. And excuse me if I didn't get that quite right. Charalambus. And she says, I love sock knitting and always have some socks on the needles. If you like knitting continuously, and I just thought, oh my goodness, this is brilliant. I don't know how this, in theory, this sounds awesome. In practice, I'm not really sure. Like, I'd really have to think about it. If you like knitting continuously, knit a sock tube with a cuff on each end. And then you can split them apart and add an afterthought heels, toes, and cuffs. You can get 2 pairs of socks out of 100 grams that way and use up scrap yarns for contrasting heels and toes. Ellie from Craft House Magic has a couple of great tutorials on YouTube. So
wow, so you basically have a tube of stockinette or whatever, and then you have your top rib is on the end, both ends.
Yes.
And then what do you just
And then
cutting?
somehow you steek or you pick up stitches. I don't know if you place a lifeline.
Maybe. I guess we'll have to watch the tutorial.
Right.
That sounds really interesting.
That just sounded amazing because I love the idea of knitting a tube and then having 2 socks at the end of it.
Yeah.
And it's almost like a sock machine knitting. Because that's how sock machines work, is you crank this tube.
Right. And then you add everything after.
And then you add everything afterwards.
That's true. Wow.
I know.
She's
And then you
smart.
can use your whole skein of yarn.
Wow.
So thank you, Tracy, for that tip.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, tip number 2 came from Darcy Thompson. And she says, I just released a DK weight sock pattern that I wrote the instructions for the seam to be on the inside of the leg for both socks. So if you watched the previous video, I had this, and it really only bothered me on striped socks that my beginning of round was always on the right side. Mm-hmm. So it was on the inside of the left sock and on the outside of the right sock. And I didn't know if patterns were always written that way or if I could put the heel on the front half of the stitches. So anyway, thanks, Darcy.
So that your striped jog, which is more obvious, is
right?
That what you're saying?
It's always on the inside
because the seam, your end of row, is going to have like a little jog in your stripes, unless you do something to not have a jog in your stripes.
Right.
So if you're knitting striped socks, that jog will be on the inside of one leg and the outside of the other leg.
Right.
I see.
Right. So to get them both on the medial side, she has a pattern that she just released, and they are called the Snowbird socks. Snowbird socks by Chit Chat Knits on Ravelry.
Oh, wow.
So we'll link to that pattern too. Mm-hmm. So we'll link to the DRK Everyday socks and the Snowbird socks, and then I'll just write about the previous tip, Craft House Magic, for the tutorials.
Yeah, that's great.
So thank you, Darcy.
Yeah.
So the next tip comes from Christopher McGovern. And he says, and I knew this, but I don't know if I've actually tried it, but it's a great solution to when you're using like self-striping yarn or gradient yarn. You can knit your socks from using the outside, pick up your yarn from the outside of the ball, just as you would normally, and then pull from the inside of your cake for the heel. And that way, he says, if you're knitting socks with a gradient yarn and using a heel flap and gusset, pull the heel yarn from the center or the outside, whichever is opposite from what you're knitting from. Yeah.
And why would you do that? To make a contrasting?
No, so that there's a little bit more contrast between your heel and the leg of your sock, and also so you don't disturb
the gradient,
the main color,
the main gradient.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that could work too.
Yeah, I've often, if I'm knitting 2 small things, pulled from, for 2 separate things. I've pulled from the inside. I usually am someone who pulls from the inside of the ball, and you're not, right?
No, I'm an outside of the ball girl.
Isn't that funny? Actually,
I have a healthy fear of yarn barf. So
I don't know, but then you have yarn tangle, because like one of these I was thinking, and I did pull it from the center, and this one I didn't. So even in my yarn bowl, it has to like flip flop around.
Right.
It drives me bonkers.
Right. I mean, it is nice.
I can't just,
when you pull from the center, the ball doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, I can stuff a few balls in here, and they just stay there, and I can just pull.
I mean, in theory, I like that, but in practice, I'm just a little nervous, and I'm going to get a big tangle, and then
Yeah.
And have to cut my yarn and yeah.
You should see my Amina sweater.
Oh my goodness, I know.
And then I started another Intarsia project.
Oh, right. The hat.
So silly.
The hat.
Which I did the decreases already, and now I realize it's too short. But anyway, I'll talk about that in episode 5. Tomorrow.
And I thought it'd be cool. I don't know if you want to write in the comments. I thought it'd be cool if we did all the hats we've loved before.
Yes.
We've both knit a lot of hats.
A lot of hats.
Yeah, some colorwork hats and some
baby hats.
And my son-in-law, every time I see him, he asks me for a new hat. I'm like, Marcus, you have a lot of hats. And you wear like one of them. So... And he wants a black hat. So, I'm like, there has to be a little bit, since I'm a process knitter, it has to be interesting to me. So I want to make a different hat,
right.
A different pattern, a different yarn.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So I've knit a lot of hats.
Yeah.
Probably 25 if I had to
You've knit a lot of adult hats.
Yeah, adult hats.
And I've knitted more baby hats, kid hats. But yeah.
Oh, we definitely have some favorites, and there's a lot of great free patterns out there. A lot of great gift knits.
I still have a little trauma. We're off track again, but I don't care.
Oh.
We haven't talked to you guys in so long, but I have a little trauma because I think it was 2 years ago I knitted my son and my grandson matching hats. They were beautiful in John Arbon.
They were striped?
Yeah, they were a little striped. Yeah, they were just beautiful hats. And my son lost his. Right before COVID.
My sister-in-law lost a hat that I made.
And then everything was closed, so he couldn't even go back to the location and
I know.
ask. I was ready to drive to Virginia and go knock on the door myself because he thinks he kind of knew where he left it, like in an auditorium under a seat. And so that hat. Now what I think is someone found it and someone has a beautiful hat.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
For sure.
But I bought yarn, or I had leftover yarn. I had to buy a little extra to make another one, but I don't like to knit the same thing 2 times in a row, except the ranunculus. So I have the yarn. It's in a project bag waiting to be knitted for my son, but I don't know. I'm still a little traumatized. Sorry, Wolf. I love you, but that made me sad that you lost the hat.
Well, speaking of lost hats, my sister-in-law did. She went back to where she was, and they just couldn't find the hat anywhere. And I was less upset about the hat. I was more upset about the $50, fur pom-pom, honestly. But, yeah.
Have you heard about people who knit things?
Yes, and leave them in
places? And leave them on purpose and say... I mean, this just touched my heart and soul, and leave them somewhere, like in a train station or a bus depot or somewhere and say, this hat is not lost. Right. It's yours if you found it. Right. Wear it in good health.
Yeah.
Isn't that sweet?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll start doing that.
That reminds me of a comment from a viewer on the sock episode that I'll mention after I mentioned that I thought I lost my gray ribbed, my favorite gray Snufnug hat beanie. I thought I lost it. I actually left it in Texas, but I was going to make my daughter one anyway, so I said just keep it, and I made the classic ribbed hat by Pearl Soho, and I'll talk about that in episode 5 too, because I ended up making 2.
You made 2?
Yeah.
You made the 2-color one. You made another one?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Since then?
Before.
Oh, gosh.
Before the 2-color one.
So we haven't. We've been, we're very careful with when we're sick, so we don't want to infect each other. We each live with our parent, which we've talked about before. So, I literally haven't seen you at all. I brought you something once here. What was it? I brought you something, and
needles.
We met outside.
I walked outside because at that point I was definitely contagious. So, yeah. I didn't want her in my house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So the viewer who, we have one of the comments was from a woman who makes, 50 pairs of socks in a year.
Amazing.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact number, but she gives them to people she meets on the bus, and I think we mentioned this in the last video, in one of our previous videos, but I just thought, wow, that's amazing. A labor of love.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she loves to do it. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, because what is she going to do with 50 pairs of socks? So, yeah.
Yeah.
And she loves to make socks, so she has to give them to somebody.
Yeah.
All right. So the next tip comes from Corinne French, and I thought this was a great tip for if it's your first time and maybe you don't want to make baby socks. But she says, I knit a Christmas stocking first before knitting socks, which I think was helpful because it helped with understanding the construction of socks, but on a bigger needle with worsted weight yarn.
That is so smart.
Yeah. So I thought that was a great alternative to making baby socks.
And it's been on my wish list, my 2-knit wish list to hand knit stockings for my family, but I've just never done it. Christmas stockings? Yeah.
Well, you're doing kind of a version of that, which we'll talk about.
Oh, right.
Christmas footwear.
There you go.
Yeah. And the last tip comes from LF Morris. And she says, and I thought this was brilliant because this was one of my struggles with 2 at a time socks on Magic Loop. When knitting 2 at a time socks on Magic Loop, when your socks are a couple of inches long or so, try clipping them together with a large safety pin. And this just made so much sense to me because clip the cuffs together on a large safety pin so that they aren't sliding to one end of the needle. Yeah, and that really bothered me.
Doesn't happen to me.
Yeah.
I mean...
Well, your stitches are on your needle so tightly that I think you have less,
Yeah, mine don't move.
Right.
Even on the cable.
Oh my gosh. Move. No, mine would slide down to the end of the cable. So I think putting a safety pin, holding them together, but, having a little bit of space in between. Now that to me made total sense, and I would totally do that.
That's interesting. That's a good idea. I guess the only time I find that I'm getting to an end of a row, but when I'm switching to the other side, then when I'm pulling the cable through, it goes with the cable instead of staying together. So I have to, but now I'm used to it. I'm kind of like in the swing of it, I guess. Yeah. But, that's a good idea. Here, when I get to the end of the row, let's see. Is this really boring? Watching me?
No. And I want to actually look at something else.
Okay.
And I didn't write this tip down, but someone mentioned.
So see, I go like this. Normally I would just go like this, and now it's not doing it.
Oh.
Sometimes when I pull, it goes with it. Yeah.
But her stitches are so tight. They're not going anywhere.
Yeah. What did you want to do?
No, so go ahead and turn.
Okay.
Another viewer, and I didn't write down this tip, but she says that she puts her ball of yarn inside the socks.
Oh, wow.
To help her with yarn management.
Oh, gosh. Well, then you would definitely have to pull from the center.
Right.
Oh, I can't get it. I guess I'm knitting tight because I'm recording a video.
Uh-oh.
But here, so, okay, they're kind of situated.
Right.
So you're saying I should take this... Oh, and I am using that method so mine don't get tangled. If I'm turning, I turn it this way to knit, and then I turn it the opposite way so that it never tangles.
Knit around in a circle.
Right, because then they keep going.
Right.
Is that the one? Oh, look, that might work. It doesn't stretch out my cuff.
I don't think so.
It makes it a little heavy.
Does it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But heck, I would try it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely makes it a little heavy.
I actually saw this.
It's a good idea.
Yeah. I saw this really cool contraption on the Knitting Traditions podcast with Inga, and a viewer sent her this, and it looks like a small hanger, but you put the hanger through your ball of yarn, your cake of yarn, and it has a little hook like a hanger, and she can hang it like on her rearview mirror, or if someone else is driving and she's knitting, or she's on a walk, she can clip it to what she's wearing, and the yarn just spins around on this spindle, and she can just
that is so cool.
Yeah, and I think a viewer sent it to her.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really cool.
That's fun.
So if I find that video, I'll link it down below.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
So let's talk about the needles.
Yes, let's talk about the needles.
Our little informal poll that
of the viewer comments, right?
Yes, viewer comments. And I scanned all the viewer comments and just made hash marks. And so, it's not 100% accurate, but it's pretty accurate. There were 129 comments that talked about needle preference. And the needle preference that was chosen most often...
Well, I think she told me, but I think it's the mini ones that you're using.
The small circulars.
Right.
Yeah, so either 9 or 12-inch small circulars were by far the most popular choice for sock knitting. So.
And would you assume that the people who commented on their preference probably are more prolific sock knitters?
Yes.
So, and they've tried a lot of different methods, and that was their favorite?
Yeah, for sure. So 40% of 129 of...
Here's our mathematician.
Yeah, chose small circulars. And the next most popular technique was Magic Loop 1 at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is what I prefer. And this was kind of surprising, coming in next at 16%, DPNs.
Wow.
Yeah, some people were like, I'm DPN through and through. I would never use anything else. Yeah. So, yeah, a lot of DPNers out there. And then 10% of you said magic loop 2 at a time. So, yeah. And then 8% 2 circulars. Yeah.
I still don't understand how to do that. I'm going to have to try it once just to see what it is.
I have tried it, and it was fine.
Yeah.
I do recommend using 2 different needles. And by that, I mean, like, maybe one with a red cord, one with a blue cord, maybe wood
so you
ones.
know where you are.
And I know that there, could be some gauge differences if you use metal and wood, but, not significant enough for me to worry about it. But anyway.
I just watched a video recently that completely disputed that thing about...
The whole gauge.
The whole gauge based on type of needle. Because they're like, if the needle is a 4.5 millimeter, it's a 4.5 millimeter. Right. Your gauge should not, and that was, I don't even remember who it was, so I don't want to get anybody in trouble. But, and I've never really experienced it myself, because because now I mainly only use metal needles, so.
Yeah, well, and I kind of think everything kind of comes out in blocking, too.
Yeah.
So, there was actually a sweater I made for Eleanor, and I'm not sure I ever mentioned it, but I spaced out. And I think the left sleeve was knit on a size 6 and the right sleeve was knit on a size 4.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if I just picked up the wrong needles, or I was thinking a size 4 for the cuffs, or because I just finished the left cuff, maybe I just picked up my size 4s. And I was knitting magic loop. And honestly, at the end of the day, I thought, oh my gosh, it's going to be this huge difference. I'm going to have to, frog the sleeve and start over. And honestly, after blocking, no one would ever know. And I was shocked. I don't even think
so did you have to knit more rows? Oh, really? It was just, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Yeah. That is kind of amazing. And when I do my gauge, my last few sweaters, actually, I think I've talked about this, or maybe I haven't, the start of my project becomes my gauge swatch.
Right. We did have some comments that was just a terrible idea.
I know. But I think because I can't wash it and block it. But then if you think, if you do a gauge swatch, and you wash it and you block it, and it grows. Let's say it grows, right? Then all the measurements, you've measured your body, you're looking at the sweater, you're trying to decide how long to make it. Are you adding extra length because it's going to grow? Or are you knitting it to the measurements in the pattern? Like, I don't know. Anyway, off topic. But what were we talking about before that?
Blocking?
I don't even
know.
Size?
Needle type.
Oh, I was going to say, it's pretty easy for me to get gauge on stitches, but my stitch gauge...
Your row gauge?
Never. I can never get my row gauge.
Right. And I think that's pretty common, actually.
I don't know how people get these row gauges. I can't. And luckily, when you knit up to a certain measurement, typically... So it doesn't really matter. I mean, once you're doing decreases, if it's a set amount though, I just have to make sure that it's going to fit me.
Right. And
maybe add some length, like in the armhole. But I've never had to do that. But yeah, so I don't know how people get row gauge. I can't figure it out. Yeah. And that's where people have said, well, try a wooden needle or try a this or that. And, I'm just lazy. I'm a lazy knitter, people. I am a lazy knitter.
I don't know. I'm the laziest. No, if you're lazy, I'm the laziest.
I really am. But even one of the knitting posse, was it Kate? Never swatches, I think. One of them said she never swatches. So some of us are
people who don't swatch.
Bad
I know
knitters.
People who are, who make amazing, beautiful swatches. Much bigger than recommended, and involving the color work or the different stitches.
That to me has become more important. If it's something with complicated stitch pattern or color work, or this hat that I'm knitting all of a sudden in Intarsia, I wanted to knit it. I made my own chart for some of the Intarsia, so I wanted to check out my chart. What I actually did was I knitted I'll talk about it in episode 5. Cancel that.
I know. It's
episode 5.
That's okay. We haven't done this in a while, so it's nice to catch up.
A long time, yes.
Yeah.
So anything else from the...
No, a few viewers, maybe 5 people, mentioned the Addi Flexi Flips, which are those little DPNs that are flexible.
I think I bought those once, and I bought some sock yarn at that yarn shop in Cold Spring when I went with you. It was new then.
Yeah.
I did. I think I bought them, and I have no idea where they are.
Oh.
They must be... I don't know. Maybe they're with the yarn I bought. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, they're like DPNs, but they're flexible in the middle, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think they usually come with just 3 needles.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember buying, I think I did. I don't know. What was the name of that shop? Endless Game.
Endless Game.
That was a beautiful little shop. We should go up there.
Spring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been there in a long time.
Yeah.
We also need to go to Stars Hollow.
Everybody talks about that place. You've been there, but I've never been there.
I've been there several times, and it's an absolutely beautiful store. And it's nice because the yarn shops in the area don't have a huge amount of overlap, so we get to see different things when we go to different stores. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because everybody carries different things.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Anything else?
No, I don't think so. I think that was it.
Wow. So we made it through an episode without anything crazy happening. Oh, your phone rang. That was the only thing.
Yeah.
That wasn't that crazy.
I'll have to call my brother.
Yeah, make sure everything's okay.
Yeah.
But I do want to mention these 2 discount codes. So, and we were supposed to do this 2 weeks ago, right? So we have only now 2 weeks left. But Katie of Katie Did Bags is offering our viewers a 10% discount off of everything in her Etsy shop. And it's going until April 1st. And the discount code, we'll put it in the captions, is Kim and Jonna 10. So it's a 10%.
I can't believe we even have a discount code.
Isn't that funny?
Yes.
We have a hashtag, which I haven't looked at in forever.
I know.
Oh my goodness.
It's great.
Yeah. But yeah, so we love our Katie Did bag. So if you need a new little project bag, she just released, oh my goodness. Maybe I can insert a photo in this video. This beautiful one with these like pop art flowers that looks like it should be my bag. It's seriously.
Her bags are really reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not huge, gigantic project bags. It's like for like socks or a small project, or if you're knitting flattened pieces, or just use it as a purse. Honestly, they're so cute. So that's that. And then Tara of Crystal Tea Knits recently released. Well, it's not recent now because I was going to announce this 2 weeks ago or a week ago, whenever. This beautiful little hat pattern, and now I can't remember the name of it. Oh gosh, I had it written down on my other notes. And it's so lovely. It's lace work, so it's more of a lightweight hat, I think. Lace work and maybe some cabling, and it's beautiful. I'll insert a picture of the hat. And then I was talking to her about the hat, and she's offering our viewers a discount as well off of all of her patterns, a 20% discount. And that discount code is Knit Together. Don't forget there's 2 T's in there. I'll put it in the captions. Knit Together. And that's also going through April 1st. So now we're halfway through March, so you have 2 weeks to take advantage of these. And you know why I love doing that? Because these are small businesses. And I mean, all businesses have suffered so much, maybe except Amazon. Someone's getting richer while the small businesses are getting poorer. So again, we highly recommend that you support small business, support your local yarn shop.
Moms, who are working from home.
Yeah, they're both moms who work from home. And it's so important.
As a mom who always worked from home.
Yes, exactly. I did not work from home, but yeah, it's just so important. And so important to support
each other.
And both of them came to our original, they're from our original in-person Knit Together group before COVID hit. Yeah. Yeah. So they're like family to us now. Yeah. So, is that it?
I think so.
Wow. I can't believe we successfully
made it through an episode.
You have no idea what a miracle this is.
No. In fact, the sweater I was wearing during our failed attempt to film episode 5, I actually couldn't look at it for a week.
Yeah, and it's a brand new, beautiful,
sweater, and I had PTSD, complete PTSD from that whole experience. So couldn't look at it, which was kind of a shame. But I've since finished a newer sweater. Yeah, that I love.
Great. But
yeah. Well, this was fun.
It was fun. Yeah. So good to record with you again.
I know. There's so much to say, so much to catch up on, and thank you all for all the tips that you leave in the comments. It was fun to go back and read through them.
And also all the lovely get well wishes and the understanding. After our first announcement, I realized, oh gosh, people might think we have some serious illness. So I kind of felt bad because I didn't provide that much information. So that's why
we were both still traumatized.
We were traumatized. So So yeah, everybody's so sweet and just like, take your time. Your health is so important. And it's just lovely. It's really nice.
Yeah. So it's nice because, you know, we try really hard. And you try, you know, really hard to get the episodes out every week. So I know that it was hard for you to, you know, have to postpone, but.
Well, it's okay. I know how much, as our viewers, I know how much I look forward to, you know, Arne and Carlos releasing a video, or Fruity Knitting releasing, and I can't wait until, you know, Sunday morning at 11, or when I see the Fruity Knitting, I literally watch it immediately.
Did you watch the latest one?
Fruity Knitting? Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. It was one of the best episodes I've ever seen.
Was it the second one from Australia?
And her sister's knitting, and
the costume designer from London. Actually, I had a friend, my costume designer friend, when she was over the other day, we were knitting, and I had her watch it. She's not really a podcast person, but I had her watch it. It's an amazing. And
Andrea's sister does this silk ribbon embroidery
and
this photography, and I mean, it's much more than a knitting.
And the little bush fairies.
Oh, the bush fairies, her little nieces who are doing some weaving.
They have a loom.
Oh my gosh. It was such a great episode.
But I worry on Fridays if people are like,
I know, where are they?
How can I let people know? And so that's why I made those silly little announcement videos, because we could post on Instagram, but we only have
on Instagram.
Right, not everybody's on Instagram. So if there's a Friday we don't have a video, we're not going to do an announcement every Friday anymore. But as we said, we're going to do an episode the first Friday of every month, if possible, and then at least one other mini-sode during the month. And so hopefully you'll watch. On the Fridays we have videos.
Yeah, and if you have any mini-sode topic ideas, let us know, because we have a running list, but you know, we want to be sure that we're publishing things that people are interested in too. So yeah, any ideas, we're open to suggestions.
Great.
As long as we can figure out the technology.
Yes. Oh gosh, technology.
So thank you for tuning in. So good to see you.
Yes.
See you again.
Yep.
And you.
Yes.
So please like and subscribe. It helps us. It helps get our videos out in the YouTube algorithm. So, and all the interaction with the comments is great.
Yes.
And fun for us.
Yeah, we love it.
Yeah. All right.
Yep.
So did we say everything?
I think we said everything. It's fine.
Okay.
There's no right or wrong. Whatever.
All right. We'll see you next time.
Yep.
Bye. Oh goodness, it's like, where's the camera? Where am I looking? Welcome to Knit Together with Kim and Jonna.
Start over. I was making a funny face.
I suddenly couldn't remember the name of our podcast.
Are we rambling? Like, do people need to notice?
I don't know. Oh my goodness.